Volterra is not just a wonderful Italian town. It's a millennial journey from ancient civilizations through Roman Empire, through Middle Ages, through Renaissance and beyond. One of the greatest Etruscan archaeological collections, capital city of the Alabaster rock art, at 500 meters over the Tuscany countryside, where the Etruscans had their sacred temples and where the food, of course, is mystically good. Volterra, upon a hill almost in the center of Tuscany, between Pisa and Siena. In a land they call Cecina Valley. We'll start right from the main square, Priori Square, that is the heart of the medieval town. We'll use the free touristic map of all the museums and points of interest in Volterra. The main building here is the Priori Palace, a building from the 13th century that is the oldest municipality in Tuscany. Priori is a word for the citizens that administrate the town. The first citizens, not a single mayor, but a group of mayors. The construction started in 1208 and finished in 1257. In front, the Pretorio Palace, where once were the captains of the city, now, logically, the police. But let's take a look at the historical city hall, where the Priori administrated the life of the community. Here in the Priori Palace, in Italian and then in English. Nessuno cittadino possa andare in palagio con capparone et berretta. No one citizen should go to the palace with a mantle and cap. The writing is on the wall. Here they say, and should, and they must, the governors should do right and loyal to do their job of governing in honor and for the city and the people of the city. They should do their job, the politicians, for the people of the city. These days, the handwriting should be on every wall, for goodness and goodness sake. Climbing the tower of Palazzo dei Priori, the palace of the, say, like the governors of the time. Here we are talking of a palace, a tower built in the 13th century. Ooh, there's a lot of wind. My hat sure flies away. A lot of wind. Yes. Priori Square. Here, the highest point of Volterra. There in the distance, an ancient convent. Volterra, Tuscany hills and countryside. Oh, and there's the fortress. Really a nice town. Really a town with a lot of history, a lot of fascination, art. Now we're going to visit the Art Gallery Museum of Volterra in Minucci Solaini Palace. The unique treasure of Volterra is its alabaster, a soft rock, hydrous sulfate of calcium. Here in Volterra, the Etruscans started to carve these rocks more than 2,000 years ago. The tradition and the skills survived until these days. From the Etruscans and their funerary art to modern Italy and modern art. Then came the Romans, and the Etruscans had to submit. During the Roman era, many constructions were made. Public and private buildings, sanctuaries, theaters and hot springs baths that they called terme. It's so fascinating standing here and thinking people sitting there more than 2,000 years ago watching theater plays. And look at these steps. So here in Volterra, I thought one thing, that it's a strange historical urban situation, not like almost all the ancient towns and cities were, at the beginning they had a little center fortified, and then along the centuries the center gets bigger and the fortification bigger and far from the center. But here in Volterra, maybe it's a unique thing that they started with the Etruscan civilization and the walls were very far outside. So I may think that it was a huge center, of populated center. Then with the Roman era, here we are, and with the medieval era, here. So Volterra had a unique development in which the old Etruscan city was larger with walls that were very far from the center. Then the Roman era with walls more near to the center, and the medieval era with a town more condensed and smaller diameter of the fortifications. It's the reverse way of the common historical city's development. One of the first Italian theaters, the oldest of Tuscany, perhaps. In 1820, 1,800 years after the Roman theater, Persio Flacco Theatre was inaugurated in Incontri Viti Palace, a mansion from the 16th century. It's a clear example of typical Italian style theater. The Etruscans were not even the first inhabitants of the place. People from the Villanoviana culture was living on the hill more than 3,000 years ago. But let's see part of the incredible Etruscan heritage. 600 funerary urns, mosaics, On the top of the hill, we found an elegy to Volterra, written in 1965. Volterra, it's a city. We say it with pride to all the villages around, because it's a city. City born and reign and state and dominus, etc. Now Archaeological Park, here on the top of the hill, from the very ancient times, Etruscans had temples and public buildings. We'll use a modern 20th century stair to descend into the heart of the hill. It was carved by the Romans to obtain a water cistern, all by hand in the 1st century. Architecture and Christianity. In San Giovanni Square, the Cathedral from the 12th century, the baptistry and the bell tower. Many stores and laboratories in town to buy handcrafted alabaster treasures of all sizes. And you know, Italian food is a treasure indeed. Here I went for tortelli marimmani, kind of big ravioli made with pasta, egg, ricotta cheese, spinach, and ragu sauce, that is tomato and different meats. Volterra wasn't made in a day. It's a treasure of a town where culture and beauty fill senses and hearts. Subscribe for more videos and stay tuned for the next, say, 2000 years. Bye.